Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Jeanette DeWitt with DeWitt Physical Therapy and Wellness, and I am a physical therapist, an athletic trainer, and a fitness coach. Today, we're going to finish off our June series on spine health. We started out with core stabilization the first 2 weeks. Last week, I talked about scoliosis, and today we're going to talk about tips that you can use to decrease the stress and the strain on your neck and your low back. One of the first tips that you can do is look at your sleeping position. Now, what I typically recommend with my patients is that you want to either sleep on your back or sleep on your side. Stomach sleeping is a big no-no because you're going to have to turn your head and cock your head so that you can breathe, and this puts a lot of stress and strain on the neck over time. So what I typically recommend when somebody is sleeping on their back is that they use a neck roll. This is a McKenzie neck roll, and you put this into a pillowcase. I'm going to do that right now. You put it into a pillowcase so that the neck roll doesn't move around on you and shift when you're trying to get a good night's rest. So the way it kind of looks is you take this and you're going to just put it right in to the pillow so that you have it kind of like that. And you see that it's elevated here. Well, if you're sleeping on your back, that's going to fit right back here. And then if you're sleeping on your side, your head kind of contours. So let me show you a little bit. We'll move the camera, get a better angle. So there's the towel or the cervical roll. You can also roll up a towel to try that. And if I'm sleeping on my back, that towel roll or that neck roll is going to go right onto the small of that back or that curve of the back. And then if I'm sleeping on my side, then this neck roll is going to be right there. So you can see that my head is supported and my spine is in a straight line versus cocked down because the pillow is too small for me, or cocked up because the pillow is too high. If you're sleeping on your side, I also recommend, excuse me while I adjust the camera again, I also recommend putting a pillow between your knees because that will keep your back or your lumbar spine in a neutral position. So those are some nice spine health tips for sleeping. Sleeping on your back with a neck roll in the pillow to support your cervical spine, and also placing a pillow under your knees to take pressure off of your low back. Then when you sleep on your side, you still have that neck roll to support your neck, but then you also put a pillow between your knees so that your spine is nice and even as well. You don't want any part of your spine to be kinked one way or the other. You want it to be nice and neutral. Now, our second tip of the day for spine health is computer posture and computer positioning. And I recommend a 90-90-90 position. I've talked about this before in previous videos, but it's such a big tip that I wanted to reintroduce it here today. So when I say 90-90-90, what that means is that your hips are at 90 degrees, your knees are at 90 degrees, and your elbows are at 90 degrees. So what that looks like is, let me see here, I'll adjust this. I'm changing the camera around quite a bit today. And I'll get far enough away. So my knees would be a little bit low here if I was sitting at a computer, but my elbows would be at 90 degrees where the keyboard is. My hips and my knees would be at 90 degrees. So it would be like, look like this. That helps support your back. And then you can also sit in a chair with a lumbar roll so that you can lean against that and maintain the curvature of your spine. When you are driving, another great tip, especially if you're driving on the highway and you're not in suburbia, is to use the headrest of the seat in your vehicle. This allows your neck muscles to relax so you're not up on the steering wheel keeping your muscles all tense. You want to have your neck muscles resting, your hands resting on the steering wheel, and your head supported on the headrest. This is super important because the headrest, nowadays, they do them right. They make them right, and they come up to the base of the skull along your occiput here. And that's where you want your headrest to sit. If it's too low, your head will fulcrum over the headrest if you get into an accident. And then that creates whiplash and potential concussion. So you want to have the headrest right here at the base of the occiput or the skull, and it should be supporting your entire head, and you can drive with your head nice and supported. If you have armrests, you can use the armrests in your vehicle so that your shoulders can also rest. I'm short, so I don't really fit into the armrest of my vehicle, but I just kind of rest my hands more in the 4 o'clock and 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or 7 o'clock position. And then I kind of have my hands a little bit lower versus up high, which tends to make me shrug my shoulders. So moving my hands on the steering wheel helps to support my upper body and my neck without creating a strain. One of the worst things that you can do is either sit at the computer or sit behind a steering wheel and shrug the entire time. That puts a lot of pressure on the discs in your neck and actually creates a shearing force, usually at C3, C4, C5 level, and it's all from just shrugging your shoulders. So keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. Now, our fourth tip for today for spine health is be ambidextrous. And what I mean by that is you should be able to use your right and your left hand for daily chores. A classic example, I'm going to raise this up again. I know I'm moving the camera a bunch, but it's really important for me to demonstrate some of this so that you have an idea. The classic example I see is vacuum cleaning. And vacuum cleaning, there's no saw on the vacuum, but everybody vacuums like they're sawing their carpet. And really, to take more strain off of your shoulder and your neck, you don't want to be doing this. You want to just walk with the vacuum cleaner forward and backwards. And you're just using your legs to push the vacuum cleaner forward and backward versus sawing with it. So forward walking, backward walking, go to the next column or row on your carpet, and that's going to help protect your back and protect your neck. But the other thing is do one room right-handed and do one room left-handed with the pushing so that you even out the right side of your back and shoulder muscles and neck muscles, and then the left side of your back and shoulder and neck muscles. Be ambidextrous with that. The final tip today is looking at how else you do chores. Making sure that you are lifting with your legs instead of bending at the waist. So you should be having kind of a squat position. And a classic example of this would be a laundry basket. So you want to lift like this versus bending at the waist, which I won't demonstrate because I don't want to hurt myself. But bending and lifting, or excuse me, no bending and lifting to pick that laundry basket up. Some other tips for laundry would be to reach in and kick the back leg up and use a golfer stance position. So it's kind of like this type of position for reaching into the wash machine. You get the clothes out of the wash machine if it's a top loader, and then you kind of lunge to push them into the dryer. So that's assuming that you have a top loader wash machine and a front loader dryer. There's no swing and fling method, like let me take it out and swing it in there. There's no swing and fling. It's just a natural golfer stance, reaching in, and then a little bit of a lunge and pushing your laundry into the dryer. So those are some tips to help with spine health. Is just to recap, is sleep on your back with a neck roll and a pillow underneath your knees. Sleep on your side with the neck roll and a pillow between your knees. When you're sitting at a computer station, you want your hips and knees and your elbows at 90 degrees. So whatever you have to do to get in that position, whether it's a footstool to keep your feet up, whether it's a chair that goes up and down, or whether it's sitting on a pillow or making an adjustment like that, whatever you have to do to get to 90, 90, 90 is the key. Then using your headrest when you drive, and being ambidextrous, using your right side of your body and your left side of your body when you're doing chores. Vacuuming by walking with the vacuum cleaner and not sawing with the vacuum cleaner. And lifting with your legs instead of bending at the waist. These are all tips that you can use. I hope that helps protect your neck and your low back, and that you have a safe summer doing things around the house, doing yard work without any injuries because you use some of these tips. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat below, or you can contact me directly at Jeanette@DeWittPTWellness.com. Some of the things that I talked about today are actually in some of my blogs on my website in a little bit greater detail. So I encourage you to share that website at www.DeWittPTWellness.com, and there's some blogs there that you can check out. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much. Bye.